Good morning, everyone. I'm the Reverend Christine Dance, and it is my great honor to serve the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Phoenix as your minister. We believe that worshiping online is an act of love and inclusion and a radical act of community commitment. It is good to be together. We need each other. For those of you who are visiting, a hearty welcome to you to our worship. Welcome home. The Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Phoenix strives to be a spiritual community for our time, focused on diverse theological perspectives, radical inclusion, and knowing that issues of justice and equity shape everything that we do. With a special awareness of those who have been historically marginalized, we welcome all. Of every race, class, ethnicity, immigration status, sexual orientation, gender identity, religious background, mental and physical ability and disability. We welcome you, your whole self, your family into our worship as we build a community of kindness and caring, of courage, and of hope. I invite you to get your chalice or candle at home as my wife Karen lights our chalice right here in our UUCP sanctuary. As she does that, join me as we share the words of our covenant. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to share our strength in fellowship. Thus do we covenant.
Good morning. I'm Carrie Lifshitz, and I am thrilled to be your worship associate this morning. Let me introduce our worship team. Our music director, Benji Messer. Our pianist, Mary Coda. And you met our minister, Reverend Christine Dance. And this morning, we are also thrilled to have a guest minister to worship with Rev Christine, the Reverend Shari Halliday-Quan. Behind the scenes, we have our AV leader, Justin Walgren. Heidi Singer is our chaplain today and is managing our chat. Our chat is open and you're welcome to chat with everyone or just our panelists running the service. Remember, if you want to chat with and if you want your chat to be seen by everyone, select all panelists and attendees. As always, we invite you to check into UUCP on social media with the hashtag UUAnywhere. I have a few announcements about the life of our community. All of these announcements can be found on our weekly online newsletter, Compass. You can sign up for Compass on our website, phoenixuu.org. Yesterday, we had the extreme privilege to ordain Reverend Anthony Johnson. The ordination was full of love, laughter, and yes, a few tears of joy. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone who was involved in this. And I would like to extend a special thank you to our amazing AV team, Justin Walgren, Benji Messer, Brad Chapman, Glenn Lockwood, Rev. Christine Dance, and Dale Fisher. If you can imagine how complicated it is to do one service, it is 5 times more complicated for the ordination. They did a great job. Thank you. We will have a new member gathering on Saturday, November 7th from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. If you are new to UUCP, whether you've only been online or you've actually been in person, please join us. We are a friendly bunch, and I'm told that there will be lots of breaks included. Our Dia de los Muertos service is November 1st. If you would like to honor a loved one, please send a photo with your name, the name of the deceased, and their relationship to you. These are due tomorrow. Submit at phoenixuu.org. Please check the website and next week's Compass for an update and information on our work with the Navajo Nation. Last week, a delivery of supplies was made, and we are undertaking a new project to provide jackets and shoes for students. Your help is needed, so please read about it. Follow the link to sign up to make a donation or to shop. The folks up north are so appreciative of our commitment to their well-being, and it is wonderful to be collaborating with a group of their young people in doing so. And finally, we are collecting our offering virtually, just like our service. One Sunday each month, we collect an offering for a community organization. This week is a Share the Plate week, and the organization is Generation Justice. Generation Justice works to mend the child protection system and bring permanent end to innocent children enduring violence. The work of Generation Justice is broad and far-reaching, resulting in life-changing impact. They work on a micro, macro, and super macro level. These 3 threads, bound and woven together, are the lifeline that will pull this generation up and end the violence. You can learn more about Generation Justice at www.genjustice.org. We ask you to be generous in supporting this worthy organization. You can text UUCP to 73256. You can donate through the website, or you can send an old-fashioned check. For all that you give, we are so grateful.
Good morning, everyone. For this service, Reverend Christine and Reverend Halliday are speaking about the origins of Universalism and God's love. And so I'd like to lead an old Christian folk hymn that we almost never do, that I really love. It's called What Wondrous Love. And I'm going to ask you to help me with the rhythm before we sing any words at all. And so just do this with me if you would. And now I'll teach you the melody. Since it's not one we know, it's beautiful. It goes do 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 So you're welcome to pat or sing or both or just listen, whatever you'd like. We'll sing lyrics that reflect contemporary Unitarian Universalist beliefs, and those will be in the chat. What wondrous love is this, oh my soul, oh my soul. What wondrous love is this, oh my soul. What wondrous love is this that brings my heart such bliss and takes away the pain of my soul, and takes away the pain of my soul. Here's the second verse Heidi just posted. When I was sinking down, sinking down, sinking down, When I was sinking down, sinking down. When I was sinking down and wore a constant frown, love to me gathered round, oh my soul, oh my soul. Love to me gathered round, oh my soul. To love and to the earth. To love and to the earth I will sing, I will sing. To love and to the earth I will sing. To love and to the earth that held me from my birth, while millions find their worth, I will sing, I will sing. While millions find their worth, I will sing. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Benji. Woo! Benji, I have to say, you teach a song better than anyone I've ever experienced. Thank you for that. So this morning, we have an origin story. So many religions have an origin story. You can think about almost every faith tradition, and there is how it started. So we have ours that is done with a lightly rehearsed puppet theater from the Lifshitz family. So ours is very special today. But it is our origin story as Unitarian Universalists, or at least the half of it. Our long name comes from the merging of the Unitarians and the Universalists, but this month is the 250th anniversary of the great story that started Universalism in the United States, or what was the America, or otherwise known as native indigenous land that was being colonized at the time. Let us just be very clear. It is a story of heartbreak and hope, of overcoming adversity and starting new. Understanding where our universalism came from, we can get a greater understanding of how it is relevant to us today. And in the category of because we can, I am delighted to welcome Reverend Shari Halliday-Quan as my conversation partner for this service. Shari has been a dear friend of mine for several years and serves as the senior minister at the First Unitarian Church of Rochester, New York. For the sermon today, you're going to get a little taste of what it's like when ministers sit around and talk about, you know, minister stuff. And we're going to talk about how it's relevant for us. So enjoy the service. Over to you, Mary. It is the time when we share the joys and sorrows of our community. Being together, it is good to share, to support each other, and to connect. Please write down any joys or sorrows that you want our community to know about. Please put your name at the beginning so I know who it's from. And if you want it to be private for me to hold in my heart, make sure you put the word private at the front and send it just to panelists. And while you are entering your joys and sorrows, I want to acknowledge the 1,300 new cases of COVID-19 in Arizona as of today. For contrast, last Sunday, we were in the 700s, the Sunday before in the 500s, the Sunday before in the 300s. And on Friday, the US hit 85,000 new cases of COVID-19. This is higher than April at the beginning of pandemic and higher than our peak in July. We are in for challenging times again, still. And I hold all of those who are sick, who are getting infected, who are scared in our hearts. I also wanted to let you know about a loss in our community. Jay Finkelstein died on October 20th at the Beatitudes. So Jay was the accompanist for our congregation many years ago, back in the 70s or 80s. We were checking with some of our wise sages yesterday, and we think it's around that time period. So we send love to Jay's family and friends and all of those who loved her. I also want to share a worry from my wife, Karen Schultz. Her mother is having a hip revision surgery next week, and Karen will be flying to Florida to be with her for the surgery and recovery for a few weeks. Certainly, this is a stressful time for travel and for surgery, so she welcomes your good energy for her and her mom. And if you've got a little extra, maybe send some to her wife, who will be home alone for a few weeks. From our community, from Eric Arellano. Eric, I always mess up your last name, I'm sorry. A joy. I worked my first day yesterday as a poll worker at ASU's campus. It was empowering to see so many first-time voters. How wonderful. Pat Reed says, a joy. I just attended a service of 16 UU churches in Illinois on voting. Got to see a lot of old friends. Francis Wiggett says, I am enjoying my statistics class, which is opening up for more possibilities for me. That's actually from Lynn McVean. Nancy McCarran and Dave Bellama say, a joy that the Kith and Kin drive-in concert at UUCP last night was wonderful. Hoping that UUCP will be able to organize future activities like this. And I will tell you that the organization that went into that, Bob Davis, deserves a huge shout out. So amazing, the work that went into that. Shelley Stevens says a sorrow for Shelley's parents, Keith and Jackie, climate refugees from Estes Park, Colorado. Oh, Shelley, sending them lots of love and peace at this time, how difficult. And Amy Miskels is letting us know about a COVID quilt, and that it warms her heart to see all of the work that's been done on the COVID quilt when the news is sad. John Reed says he's glad it is cooling down in Phoenix. All of us do, John Reed. From the Lifshitz family, Dylan got 3rd place in Congress at his first digital speech and debate tournament of the season. That is awesome, Dylan. You rock. And Lucia says, a worry, protests for women's bodily autonomy in Poland are turning violent. My brother is helping. Please lift up his safety. Rose Pascal sent a private one that I'm holding in my heart. Francis has a joy that Malcolm got registered to vote and then received his mail-in ballot, which he returned. He voted for his first time. Good for you, Malcolm. Bill Schultz was thrilled to work on campus with Karen Schultz to put up our new banner that says Black Lives Matter and how we are still open for online. And it turns out that our dirt is still very hard out front. So Plan B will be this coming week. And it looks like that's all of the joys and sorrows that we have. So oh, there's one more. Rose Pascoe, there we go. Joy, the Halliday-Quan, which is religious educators, took place this week online. I was sending so much love to all of our religious educators as they were navigating the online space and finding meaning and hopefully recharging. Thank you, Rose, for that clarification. So, settle your body. Settle into this moment. Put your feet on the ground if that works for you, or settle your body into your chair. Lower your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Take the tension out of your fingers. And today, my beloveds, we are just going to breathe. We are going to focus on bringing oxygen into our lungs, slowing our breath, bringing calm into our body, and centering yourself into your most loving core self. Just for a few minutes, I want you to let go of all of the other things. And of course, I have your favorite toy for this. So let's breathe with this. As the ball expands, feel your lungs expanding with oxygen. And with it contracting, feel the exhale. So take a deep breath in. And breathe out. Breathe in. Exhale. Keep doing it with me. For our ability to breathe, for our lungs bringing in that beautiful air. Let us be grateful and let us remember to keep doing this. We need to keep breathing, especially over the next few weeks. Just keep taking deep breaths. Amen. Blessed be. Nashe.
John Murray and Thomas Potter, adapted from John Murray and the Winds of Change from the UUA curriculum TAPS. The story of John Murray and Thomas Potter, adapted from John Murray and the Winds of Change from the UUA curriculum Tapestry of Faith. You never know what the wind will blow in or which way the wind blows. The wind can change directions and maybe change your life. It happened to John Murray. As a young man, John Murray had excellent fortune blow his way. He had a fine education, a steady job, a loving wife, and a young son. Life was good. Then, suddenly, everything changed. John Murray's wife and their son became sick and died. John lost his job, lost all his money, and he was put in jail because he could not pay his bills. John was a very religious man, a Universalist, who had even preached about a loving God.
I'm not sure what to believe. I feel like my life is over.
You should go somewhere and start over.
I'm going to book passage on a ship that is New York bound.
That ship was named the Hand in Hand. The wind blew. The ship toward their destination of New York. But then a fog rolled in, a thick fog that you could not even see through. The Hand in Hand ran aground in Good Luck, New Jersey, instead of New York. John and a few others volunteered to leave the ship go on land and get directions and supplies.
I'll take my Bible and purse and find some food.
As he was walking ashore, John saw a farmhouse with a small chapel beside it. It belonged to Thomas Potter.
Hello, my name is Thomas Potter.
I am John Murray from the ship Hand in Hand. Can I purchase some fish for my crew?
I will give you fish for your crew, and all that I ask is that you come back and have dinner with my wife and I tonight.
That is very generous.
When John came back, Thomas Potter showed him the chapel.
Come see this chapel I built. I believe in a loving God who wants to accept all people into heaven.
Wow, I believe the same thing.
I built this chapel and have been waiting for God to send me a minister. You, John, are that minister. I have waited for you a long time.
No, I am not that minister. I'm not a preacher anymore. I'm never preaching again.
But I think you are that minister. Come, preach on Sunday.
I cannot preach on Sunday. As soon as the wind changes, my boat will set sail and I must be on it.
If the wind does not change, and if the boat has not sailed by Sunday, you will preach?
Fine. If I am still here on Sunday, I will preach.
Now, what do you think happened? Did the wind blow? Did the Hand in Hand sail away, taking John Murray with it? No wind blew, no ship sailed. John Murray preached on Sunday morning, September 30th, 1770, in the chapel Thomas Potter built for him many years before. Yay! The Universalist message of the power of love was good news to many who heard. It was good news for John. The winds of change blew yet again for John Murray. He now wanted to preach more than anything, and he did for many years, and helped found Universalism in America. He is one of the ancestors of our faith home, and we, as Unitarian Universalists, owe a special thanks to Thomas Potter. It was his hospitality that brought John Murray back to the pulpit. We also owe a special thanks to the wind that blew him in and would not blow him out.
Good news, new days are coming, good news. New ways are coming, good news. New days are coming, I don't want it to leave me behind. We'll stand up together that day, I know. We'll stand up together that day, I know. We'll stand up together that day, I know. And I don't want it to leave me behind. Good news, new days are coming, good news. New ways are coming, good news. New days are coming, I don't want it to leave me behind. We'll stand against hate that day, I know. We'll stand against hate that day, I know. We'll stand against hate that day, I know. And I don't want it to leave me behind. We'll stand against fear that day, I know. We'll stand against fear that day, I know. We'll stand against fear that day, I know. And I don't want it to leave me behind. Good news, new days are coming, good news. New ways are coming, good news. New days are coming, I don't want it to leave me behind. All the people together that day, I know. All the people together that day, I know. the people together that day, I know, and I don't want it to leave me behind. Good news, new days are coming, good news, new ways are coming, good news, new days are coming, I don't want it to leave me behind. All the people together in peace, I know. All the people together in peace, I know. All the people together in peace, I know. I don't want it to leave me behind. Good news, new days are coming, good news, new ways are coming, good news, new ways are coming, I don't want it to leave me behind. I don't want it to leave me behind.
So, hello everyone. And I am so glad that my friend Shari can be here, because I have to tell you all, after all the excitement yesterday and the ordination and all the work that went into it, I was feeling pretty much like John Murray. I did not want to preach. Like, I couldn't think of sitting down and writing it. And just like the wind that blew John Murray onto the shores of Thomas Potter's church, my friend Shari blew in last night and said, "Hey, I've got this idea. Why don't we do this together and have a dialogue?" And I can't tell you how grateful I was for that. So welcome, Shari. Let's talk about the story and how it relates for us. I'm so glad you could be with us here.
I can't imagine another minister and another congregation I'd like to be shipwrecked upon the shores of today. It's good to be with you all.
Absolutely. And I do really love this story, but I'm also really struck by Thomas Potter's version of this story, because he built this chapel without a minister. He had great hope and faith that if he just built this chapel, that somebody would come and preach in it. And I have to say, like, sometimes I'm like, where did he find that hope? Where did he have that faith with so much going on and what's happening in, our world? And I have to tell you, I've been sending you and your congregation so much love and thoughts, and I've been following you with the protests against the absolutely unnecessary death of Daniel Prude, and I've been watching the amazing work that you all have been doing in Rochester. Know that our hearts have been with you during that.
Oh, well, thank you. And as I look at you in your sanctuary and Thomas Potter's hope that if you build the building, not only will the minister come, but eventually the congregation will come too and be together. I can understand that hope. That resonates with me these days. But I've been thinking a lot about you and Arizona as well. In many ways, the desert there is my spiritual home. And it's been a little while since I've been there. The last time I was there was for Faith Floods the Desert, when I joined an interreligious contingent, but primarily UU ministers, to help bear witness to the humanitarian aid that's happening there. And of course, it's something that I carry with me and I think about a lot, but it's very much at the forefront of my mind now with the discovery and revelation of even more children than our cruelest expectations might have imagined. And even when it falls from the headlines, we know that the construction of the border wall and the militarization of the southern border continue. And so I think about the time that I spent there and all of you and the good work that needs to be done. And I think lately I've been thinking a lot about when I was there with all of those just unabashed do-gooders and was with these good-hearted, lovely people, many of them UU ministers, And this thing happened that happens to me all the time, but was unusual for one reason, which is, and I want to be clear, I'm multiracial, very white passing, white and Asian, Chinese. But because I'm Asian, I am subjected to the cultural script of being a foreigner and an outsider pretty persistently. The line of questions around where are you from, where are you really from, is something I know really well. And so while I was there with this group of do-gooders, we sort of hooked into that, and somebody starts questioning me. And like lots of other times, there were lots of other people around me, white folks who didn't know what to do, but I know would have wanted, could feel the awkwardness. What makes this moment stand out in my mind was one person who I didn't know flipped that script and interrupted in a really clear way, simply to say, oh, well, where are you from? And turn it around and just move that moment, which I think lots of other people would have wanted to do, but likely because she had been prepared to do it, she knew what to do. And it's only ever happened 2 other times in my life. Of the over 1,000 times I've probably been asked this question, 3 times somebody has interrupted that. And that way of making something abstract very real feels really related to what our early Universalist forebears have to bring to us.
That is really, thank you so much for that story, Shari. And sadness that that's happening and that it's only been 3 times. I think that is a good reminder for all of us. So let's think about, and this congregation, we're still exploring what Unitarian Universalism, and we can unpack some of these basics of Universalism to say, how does that tie into interrupting and being prepared? And I think the standard line that we often say, Unitarianism and Universalism means universal salvation. No one is going to hell. That's the easy answer that we say that Universalism. But we know, you and I know, it's so much more complex than that, right?
Yeah. So, right. Universal salvation is a part of the Universalist heresy. Great idea. But it's by no means the most radical. And I have been saying this when I go to city council to talk about the experience of protesters and police violence. Someone that you all know, Reverend Susan Frederick Gray, when talking about UU the vote, she's been saying it. Our early Universalist forebears didn't just believe that there was no hell in the afterlife. They believed that hell was real, but we create it right here in the here and now on earth.
Yeah. And to build even more on that, if hell is right here on earth, then our responsibility is to bring heaven to earth, to switch that around. And it's so much more challenging than saying no one's going to hell. Because if we acknowledge that hell is here on earth and how we love the hell out of the world, is how we change that and bring heaven on earth. And that's, talk about a radical time and a radical message, not just then, but now too, just as much. And not easy to do, right? It's really not easy to do, to live that on a day-to-day basis.
Not easy at all. So we come in Rochester, we're at a historically Unitarian congregation. We're an old congregation, and we emphasize a lot the Unitarian idea of character over creed, the idea that what you believe is important, but only insofar as it informs who you are. But the Universalists, they take that to an even greater extent to say who you are is really made up of how you are. You are what you repeatedly do, which is an Aristotle line, but it is hard.
It is hard. And I think, I think about that original story. And one of the parts that's not often told about the story is the role of Thomas Potter's wife, who was at that conversation at dinner, right?
That's right.
She had, tell us a little bit about that. I know that you know a little bit more about her too.
Sure. Yeah. Well, so, right. I mean, this story that we tell of, sometimes it's just John Murray's story. And I think what's powerful about it is that it's a team effort, right? It's not, John Murray is nothing on those rocks. I mean, he is something inherently worthy and dignified, let's be clear. But Thomas Potter's role in this story is obviously really critical. But his wife gets named, and then we don't really talk about her, but is extremely critical to this story because she was so sick of Thomas holding conversations around Universalism in the living room and not doing anything about it, that basically she said, Thomas, you gotta build something. If anything is going to happen, you have to invite that love in. You can't just like constantly be talking about it here with us. And, you know, John Murray comes with a crew. There are lots of people involved in this story who go unnamed, and yet their role is incredibly critical.
I love that. And I love how that ties in to the idea of being prepared. So she was telling him to be prepared, to practice what you were saying, that Unitarian idea of practice, practice, practice. And, you know, we're practicing all the time. So last week, Shari, actually, our director of children's ministries, Katie Resendez, talked about Universalist love and was talking about the experience that some people might have had when the head of the United States got COVID, and what is our role in universal love when that happens, and was talking about that it is not our job to love everyone, that we have a certain focus on it. But I think it also extends, you know, beyond that too, that the spiritual question is not how we love this one person. It's how do we grieve for the million people who have died of this disease? How do we look at the entirety and bringing it back to that idea of hell on earth, rather than about that one person, that really universalist view, right? Like that's, you know, and that's a challenge too. And how do we practice and be prepared to do that kind of loving?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not that the head of the US government isn't a valid spiritual question. It's just, it takes you a while to get there. If you've got over 1 million people to hold in your heart and pray for and grieve and bear witness to, it might be a while before you get to that point in line. And that really, as you said, I think that is the central spiritual question of Universalism, is bit by bit, how do you pour as much love into the world right now in front of you?
Yeah. And so that leads us to our time, right? That's where we are right now.
Yeah. So, right. I mean, you bring up politics. I don't know about all of you, but I know in Rochester, we're a little anxious. We've started early voting yesterday. We've got a couple of weeks until the election, and we're at this historical moment that feels and is incredibly critical, right? On the spectrum of possibilities, will we be called to nonviolently resist the crumbling of democratic institutions? Will we need to, in some way, bear witness or even protect in body those subjected to post-election violent flare-ups?
Right. It really, I mean, we've been voting for a couple of weeks here. And so it feels like this long wait, right? And we know that it's going to be an even longer wait. One of the things we know is that we probably won't know all the things right away. But it does, you know, remind me then, let's tying this back to that universalism story. So there's a Universalist proclamation that's in our hymnal that says, give them not hell, but hope and courage. Not hell, but hope and courage. So how do we do that? How do we bring in our Potterism? How do we prepare for what we are fairly certain will be a very challenging next few weeks?
I I'm so delighted to hear you say Potterism. And I think
Made that up.
No, I liked it. I'm going to both try to embody Potterism and Potter's wifeism.
Yes.
And maybe dive into our historical record and figure out if I can't figure out her name, because I bet she had one.
I know. I was like, we're just calling her Thomas Potter's wife. I know she's got a name. So let's
definitely
make sure
got one. We will find out. But anyway, all of that's to say, how do we lean into this moment of preparation and pour out love bit by bit? And so thinking about that story that I shared earlier, one of the important things about it is, of course, I know that script really well of being deemed other and foreigner, but the vast majority of the array of different manifestations of racism in this country do not fall upon me. Right? I carry an incredible amount of privilege.
Yeah,
and in this same way, in this moment, I can look at both, where am I safe? Where am I able to move out of a place of love? Where am I able to take risks? And where can I best apply that love? So, we're doing lots of things here in Rochester to help us tap out of anxiety on that day, because it's really easy to doom scroll and refresh news. But I'm also taking a look at my block. Now, it's a mixed race neighborhood, and there are people in my neighborhood who, as we've been watching cars drive by over the last month or so of counter protesters who are going to harass the protesters who are fighting for justice in the wake of Daniel Prude's killing. I know that I'm prepared to, if someone were to, let's say, harass them or they don't feel safe in their home, I'm prepared to go sit on their porch with them. We can be COVID safe and they will know that they're not alone. I know that we have the relationship right now that makes that make sense. And I know that they're more likely to be targeted than I am. So that give them hope and courage, not hell. That's not just a job for ministers. It wasn't just a job for John Murray. The Potterism is an invitation to us all.
It is. And I knew that it would happen, but my lovely folks have found her name. Her name is Mary Potter. I love you all. You're so great. And so I really thank you for that idea and that really concrete idea of it, Shari, and the idea of interrupting, tying it back to your story and how important it is to interrupt and to bear witness and to do something concrete. And it may not seem like a big thing, but obviously your story from the desert, it stands out. That one act still stands out. And I know that I've been telling my folks that we really need to tap into that Universalist love as idea as well. Sometimes we need to tap out of the news. We need to reconnect and ground ourselves. We need to find a ball to breathe with. We need to remember who we are. And we need to have that strength and love within ourselves so that we can send that love and have that energy to support those who are most affected here, those who are most in danger, those who are protesting, those who have marginalized identities, those whose rights are most at risk. You and I have some rights at risk at this time, but it is not anywhere near the situation that for some of our more marginalized communities. And then I really hope that out of all of that Universalist love, that there is a little bit left that we can share with our families, with our neighbors, our children, our parents, those who we are needing to take really good care of ourselves right now and share all of that.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for that, for all of the points, but certainly that last point, because I think that is at the core of the Universalist message. from our conversation, I wouldn't blame folks if they came away from this thinking, I have to be brave and I have to be bold. And I hope that people will come away from this conversation thinking that. But also that universalism doesn't say you need to do any of these things in order to be good and to be loved. That's how you start, and it's non-negotiable.
Right.
That love belongs to you by virtue of who you are. And we're invited out of that to live more lovingly and more full-heartedly.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Shari, I cannot thank you enough. You were the boat that swept in to my shore in New Jersey and gave me that breath of fresh air that I needed for this morning. And I'm so grateful for you. And please know that our congregation here in Phoenix will be thinking of you in Rochester. We know that you all are heading inside now for the rest of the winter as we are just coming out. We will think of you as you're continuing to work for justice for Daniel Prude and going through all of the amazing things that you're doing with your congregation.
I carry that in my heart to our people. And with gratitude for all of you for your hospitality this morning, it has been such a joy to be with you. And I will also be carrying you in light and love. May you enjoy some cool breezes ahead. It was so good to be washed up on good luck with you.
Yes, good luck is what we all need. Love you, Shari. Thank you so much. Over to you, Benji. You want to sing us out?
Sure. Oh, what a treat to have you here, Shari. And that was so fun. This is a last song by the great U.S. songwriter Ingrid Michaelson about, well, maybe about how ready we all are for that message that we just heard, how important love is. And it goes, the lyrics will be in the chat. You're welcome to sing along with the chorus. It's pretty catchy. So, whoa, whoa, we have fallen down again tonight. In this world, it's hard to get it right. Trying to make your heart fit like a glove. What it needs is love, love, love. Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved. Whoa, whoa. Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved. Whoa, 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 whoa. Happy is the heart that still feels pain. Darkness drains and light will come again. Swing open up your chest and let it in. Let the love, love, love begin. Here's the chorus. Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved. Whoa, whoa. Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved. Whoa, whoa. Everybody knows the love. Everybody holds the love. Everybody falls for love. Everybody feels the love. Everybody steals the love. Everybody heals with love. Whoa. Just let the love, love, love begin. Here's the last chorus. Everybody with me now. Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved. Whoa. Hey, oh. wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved. Whoa, whoa. Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved. Whoa, just let the love, love, love begin. Whoa. Thanks all.
Everybody wants to love. This is what I was doing, Benji, the whole time. I just wanted you. Oh, you all, how fun was today? And I just want to, I mean, I should do this every week, but give a great shout out. Every single piece of music today was from our congregation. And just such great stuff. And Lifshitz family, you have set a new bar of excellence. And Shari, just Reverend Shari Halliday-Quan, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us and for your spirit and your friendship. That was just a lot of fun. I'm getting requests that they want us to do it again sometime. So before closing words, we do want to invite you to coffee hour after the service. We'll meet in a large group for just a few minutes, then break out into smaller groups. The rooms will be in the chat and we'll be on the final slide. And visitors, please join us. You can see we're a friendly bunch. There's also coffee hour just for kiddos and their families. It's so much fun. You need to go. And as a reminder, please check on each other. See how everyone is doing. So we are grateful for 250 years of universalism that taught us that we must work to eradicate the hell that exists right now and love the hell out of this world, working together to create heaven on earth. We're reminded to step in, to interrupt, to show up, and to remember who is at risk during this time. And to remember that our best selves are grounded in that universalist love. As you go through this week, know that you are loved, you are precious, and we are all in this together. Go in peace, go in love.